Hello and welcome back to the ministry, and today we are talking about prematurity. Isolation is preparation for being seen. You ever heard the scripture that states, the things that you do in private, God will make you famous for in public? Something like that. It's the things that we do in our isolation that prepare us for being seen in those seasons in which God is opening the door for you. This ministry, I am reading articles that I started writing back in 2016 when I wasn't thinking about ministry. I wasn't talking about ministry. All I was doing was continuing to share my spiritual wisdom that I was gaining as I was growing in my season of revelation of God. I had recently come into the knowledge of the Lord. I was reading His Word more. I was doing all of this, and I had come to a place where I realized that I needed to let go of my fashion dreams and goals, at least for a season, because I was no longer interested in them. I was no longer passionate about them, and the Lord had stripped me of my desire for them any longer. And it was weird because at the time He stripped me, I had just started to see a glimmer of success. I was starting to see that I was able to go to fashion shows, local fashion shows. I was working with the local television personality who worked for the newscasting company, Channel 2. I was going to business events. One of the business associates that I met at the business event gave me the information for the woman that I was going to the fashion shows with. I was going to the fashion week here in Baltimore. I was making moves, honey. I was out here, and God said, put it all down. And my blog was starting to my blog and my Facebook was starting to catch up with itself, and it was starting to look real nice and real good because I had fashion show photos, and my Instagram was popping and all of that. Put it down. What? Jesus, what you mean you want to put down? Listen, we popping out here. I just got my name printed in a brochure. What you talking about? You put it down. Put it down. So I put it down. I literally no longer had the desire. Because what the Lord did is when the Lord told me to put it down, I didn't put it down immediately. He started to remove my desire for it. I no longer had the taste for wanting to write articles about trending clothing for the season. I no longer wanted to talk about the best color patterns and the color palettes and the this, that, and the other, and what's popular and what's hot and what celebrities are wearing what. And these are my favorite colors, patterns, and prints for the season. And it's like, I just was over it. And I'm still in a phase where I'm kind of over it. And this is 6 years later. I look at fashion shows and I'm just like, I just don't like this no more. I just don't. And it's funny because the Lord has been showing me that I may be going back into it in a way. And I'm still like, none of this. I can't imagine. I was watching a reel from Janet Jackson the other day where she was in a private showing of it may have been a private showing, but it was a handful of people that were maybe 10, 15 people, or maybe 30 people were watching a fashion show in this small space. Janet Jackson had went to this fashion show, and then they had a dinner afterwards. long table dinner afterwards. And I'm sitting there like, I know where the Lord has called me, and I know where the Lord is showing me, and I'm just sitting there like, I can't imagine myself doing that or sitting there. Because I'm just like, it's not interested in me no more. But you know what? That's when God will decide to use you. He's like, oh, you're no longer enamored with that stuff anymore. Now I can use you. Now I can use you. Because you're not going to go there and be all, oh, look at the fashion. Now I'm just like, do I gotta go there? Why? I was like, perfect. You no longer care about it. Now I can use you. And that's the way that the Lord will do. What the world is that? When you are a child, you think as a child. As a child, you're 2 years old, you want to be 5. At 5, you want to be 10. At 10, you want to be 20. At 20, you want to be 30. At 30, you're wishing you were 2 again. Because you got a 2-year-old and you're like, man, I wish I could be taken care of. Now I'm at that age where I'm at 35 and I'm sitting there like, I'm getting ready to come into that age range of having kids. And I'm going to have kids yelling and screaming and hollering and wanting me and all this kind of stuff. Please, Jesus, let my children be as peaceful as I was as a baby. Please. 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 If you got mercy for me, let them all be peaceful. Let them be like little angels. Let everybody be talking about them like, oh my God, they were little angels. They don't never scream or cry. They just so peaceful. They just observe. Jesus, are you listening? Please let that be my kids. I don't never hear them crying about nothing. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. But getting back to the point, I had to have a moment there. We have those moments where we start to chase after the illusion, but we don't want to deal with the process. I've been saying this the past 3 videos. God first. First, you pray. Then, you prepare as the Lord is giving you the instructions. You write down, jot down all of the instructions. Then the Lord has you semi-apply the instructions to a degree. Then He stretches you and tests you in a level of application. Then He has you release. You have to release and let go of everything that does not serve what you have asked for in that season. But don't nobody want to go through those processes parts. Nobody. Don't nobody like it. Don't nobody like the time of it. They can get the 5 instructions and be thinking, okay, I know that's going to be my 5 instructions. I'm going to be done with that in 5 seconds. And you be like, okay, Lord, you said it was going to be done in 3 months and it's 4 months. Why are we still sitting here? I was like, you didn't circumcise your heart. You still dealing with unhealed wounds. I got to deal with that before I can even let you go into the other thing, because I know you're thinking about that, but you don't see what I see, because Elroy sees all things and I can see the things that you're going to run into problems with when you get over there. But y'all just sitting there like, but I just want to I just want my money. I just want my business. I just want my marriage. I just want. You got to go through the storms and the testing and all of these things that are leading and the guiding and the guarding and all of these types of things mature. You must go through a period of darkness where you have to be pruned in order to be able to handle what it is in which you are asking. And when you're going through that darkness, people are like, uh-oh, it's darkness. But even a child, before it's born, it's in a womb. Do you ever see an embryo in the womb talking about, oh, embryo, I want out of here. I want to get out of here. It's too dark. It's too much expensive space in here, and this liquid is just not doing it for me. I gotta get out of here. When can I be born? I want to be born. I want to meet these people. I hear their voice all the time. That baby ain't in there like that. They're like, I am chilling in this stomach. At the most, they kick you when they get feet. They might punch you a little bit with their little fists once they realize that they can move them. They just stretching because they're like, I can feel. I have feelings. But you don't see them trying to get out any sooner. Me. I did that. Sorry, but and it wasn't so much that I did that because I was trying to get out sooner. It was the fact that my birth mother ended up in a bad situation and they had to take me out sooner. But I'm sure I'd have stayed in there chilled until September 24th if I had gotten the opportunity. But I was born in July. I'm a July baby. Line of Judah. All the way. But you gotta go through the darkness. You gotta go through those issues. You gotta go through it. You don't want to be rushed out. You don't want to have that prematurity. You don't want that. You don't want to go through the darkness and the dark seasons of simplicity and all that kind of stuff. If you gotta understand, these types of things will blow your mind. All of this darkness in the dark season, you're operating in lack of knowledge. You have to grow, meaning you have to pray into your growth and prepare for what you've prayed for. Like I was just saying, then you have to work on your stretching so that you may be able to apply in the testing season. But if you come out premature, then how you going to be able to handle the stretching? How you going to be able to handle? A lot of people, women most especially. All the women in waiting, please raise your hands. No. Some of y'all are out here screaming, oh my God, I've been single for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. Oh my God, I've been single. Why can't I get married? You praying for a marriage, or you just praying for a man? Because you can go out there and find a man anywhere, anytime in it. But you praying for the man that's going to love you, honor you, cherish you, take good care of you, cover you, love on you, the one that you can love on them, the one that your hearts be in sync together, the one that if you have something that you need to do, he gonna walk well with you to make sure you get it done. He gonna push you towards making sure that happens. He ain't gonna just let you lay in bed all day 24/7 because you ain't got nothing to do with your life. No. This is a man that you sitting there praying for. Cried your eyes out to get. One, because you prayed for him, God's working on that dude. And sometimes he's kicking and screaming because he's like, I don't know if I want. And then, because some of these men was over there enjoying their single life, going from woman to woman and bed to bed, and they kind of like, I can have her. You always hear me talk about the young woman, and that's her story to tell. One of the young women that I follow, she just recently, in the past few years, came out of her season of having a Rolodex of 3 and 5 men. There's another one I listened to, same thing. Just recently came out that season, 3, 5 men. They could pick up the phone and call anybody when they wanted them, and they would happily come over. But they gave their life to God and let go of all that because the Lord was telling them, I got a man for you that you can get all that you're trying to get off these pieces of men. Because that's all it is pieces of men. I got one guy that's going to do that for you. And the one guy that was going to do that for them, half of them was sitting up there like, I don't like him. Why? Because he challenged him. Some of these men going to challenge you. Yes, the love making is going to be amazing, but they going to challenge you in the best and worst way. And you got to be mature enough that when they do so, you be like, you ain't going to slap off and clean slap, stupid. Like he was born yesterday. And you have to realize this is the man that you married, and you're going to have to submit to him. And some of y'all, the main reason that y'all sitting up there waiting for, as long as you're waiting in your isolated season, waiting for your marriages, is because of the fact that the Lord and this man are waiting on you to let go, let God, and be submissive to the fact that this man is going to be in control of your life. God's going to be in control of him, but you're going to have to listen to this man. You're going to have to follow him. You're going to have to walk in sync and alignment with him. You're going to have to be teachable. That when this man tells you something, you can listen to him and be like, I ain't gonna. You sit up there got too much mouth because you want to control things. You want things to go the way you want them. Yes, you and your spouse are going to have the ability to have conversations. Yes, you're going to be able to advise him in certain things. But you can't be running around here like Eve, trying to circumvent, get around, trying to go and touch and taste and do all of this type of stuff, but it ain't what it is. No. No. And no. This is not the world in which we live in. You got to be able to be teachable and learn. Because you're growing. And you're growing into the person that is able to handle that. Some of y'all are asking for businesses. And what the Lord is doing, especially for the females, is He's lining you up with businessmen. And He's helping you to be able to walk with these men in which you have begged God for. But y'all sitting there, I need isolation. I want to go out. I want to go in it. Let me just go hang out with a dude. Yeah, you do that if you want to. Open yourself up to spiritual warfare. It's another young woman that I've been keeping my eye on her for the past few years, and I was shocked to find out that she slipped like that. I was like, you fell into sin like that? And it's not to say I'm not judging anyone that falls into sin. I'm just saying that where did you miss the Lord in that element that you allowed yourself to get to a point that you slipped like that? And you know what that means. She got to go back on that potter's wheel. I'm the type of person, I would rather not go back on the potter's wheel 15 times. I love you, Jesus. I love you, Jesus. And because I love you, Jesus, I ain't trying to sit up here on this potter's wheel going back and forth over the same things over and over and over. I would rather learn it, gain understanding, go through my season of testing and pruning, and then be released completely from this season. I don't want to sit here and keep going through the same cycles over and over again. And some of us have. We've had to. Because God would test us and we fail. And that's why you got to stay in your isolation a little bit longer. Because the Lord's like, you failed the test. I'm sorry, I can't let you out. Or He will release you into another season. It's not the same place that you were. You're in a new place, but you're still going through the same test. Because you failed the last set of tests. Why is He going to release you into something new? He's got to prune that out of you. He's got to release you from that generational curse. And until He's able to do that and you relinquish and let go of the things that need to be pruned out of you, you're going to keep going through that same cycle. And you're going to stay in that isolation because you ain't growing. You think you grew because you moved from one location to another. My coach said this to me in something she was talking to me about several months ago, and she said sometimes y'all be thinking that the Lord don't hear you in the place that you are. You can be anywhere, the Lord still hears you. It's just He's working on you in that place. Because sometimes we be in places that we don't like. The Lord done dropped us in a season where you around a bunch of family members that you cannot stand to be around, because it's just your mind don't work the way they do. Your thought process don't work the way they do. You don't think like they do. They are just, I wouldn't call them heathenists, but yeah. Don't catch your pearls of swine. And you sitting there like, Jesus, we gotta leave this season. God said, I'm working on you. One, I need you to pray for them. Because sometimes that's the reason that you're sitting there. It's like, God's like, I need you to pray for them. Because they are at risk right now. I'm going to sit you right here so that you can pray as you watch and observe. Pray for what you see that they need. Because it ain't looking good for them right now. So I need you to pray. So I'm going to sit you in this. God has set me in seasons where I was in places and spaces. I'm like, why do I have to be here to do this? And I was like, stay there. 1, 2, 3, 6 months, a year, 3 years. I'm like, why do I gotta be here? And He'd be sending people to me. It's like, I need you to pray over this person. Some people, I will pray over them and they be out within 24 hours. And I'm just like, why am I sitting here? No. Because God has you in a season of isolation, preparing you. And each level, you notice that it gets a little bit better. And then you got to fight them demons that you once fought before from your past. And you got to deal with that. Sometimes Lord will use you going through a life and experience of hard knocks in order for you to be able to grow, in order for you to grow in your beliefs and the things in which you are walking through, in order for Him to be able to prune you and prep you and prepare you. And you're like, God, this life thing right here, can we rethink this? Because this isn't what I signed up for. What I signed up, because people have this weird thing when it comes to God. It's like God is a halo of light, and that Jesus is this white dude walking with this white smock on all through the land, and He cares for nothing because He is Jesus Christ and He is at peace at all times. People get lost. It's like, Jesus, when you join Jesus, you are signing up for the military. You may not have noticed that. You may not have figured that out. But you signing up for the military. Boot camp. Hell week. Hell weeks. It may not last weeks on end, but it'll be like, you're going to have a hell week here. You're going to have a hell week there. You're going to have some basic training. You're going to have some... Y'all be sitting up there thinking, oh, I'm signing up for God. Jesus, this. You're going to have your worshiping moments. You're going to have your praising moments. But you about to go into work that you didn't think that you was going to have to do. And because you signed up to go with Jesus, you best to do that basic training, because if you don't, them enemies coming for your neck. They want to kill you, because you left them high and dry when they thought that they was good and working on you. They had you good, and it was like, now they done left. Now we gotta torture them, and they gonna be fighting you. Every level is gonna get a little bit easier, because as you learn and as you go through your training, you can snap and kick that warfare real. Let me take it out. Let me take it out. I know what that is. I can discern it. Let me take it out. Do it. Immediate incision. Take it out. And deal with that. But it's a lifelong battle. And with every level. Whew. but your gifts and your calling. Honestly, let's just be real honest. Let's have this moment. For real, for real. If every person in the world, at the point in time in which they were at a place of understanding, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, when you start to hear kids sit up there and say, I want to be this when I grow up, you start teaching them, wait, I don't want you to say what you're going to be when you grow up. I want you to start asking the Lord, and they'll listen to you then. Start asking God, what am I supposed to be when I grow up? And then let's figure out how we can figure that out. Because He'll show you. It's like, I would tell my kids this. Ask Him what He wants you to be when you grow up. You will save your children a whole bunch of time. Because they are malleable at the ages of 5, 6, and 7. If they ask the Lord and the Lord shows them and gives them dreams of what they're supposed to be when they grow up, and you start to teach them, and they start to have dreams and visions, and you start to lead them in the direction, I guarantee you that 95% of them, 95% of the children, they would grow up to become, with the right support, what they are called and meant to be. If every child was willing to walk through that process. I remember I used to work for a company. It was an MLM company. It's the first MLM company I ever worked for. And what they taught us is that in one of their sessions, they talked about how there is a lot of people that will come into this that will not finish. You're going to go through level by level the process, and people that came in here and were with you when you started are going to fall off. And very few will make it through to burst the bubble and start to make the financial income in which they truly desire. And that's the case. There are so many people in this world that if they had the people asking them the right questions in youth, had the right support in youth, had the right friend groups and surroundings, had the right teaching, understanding of the warfare, understanding that there are going to be wilderness seasons, teaching your children that there are going to be dark seasons in their life, and when there are going to be dark seasons, this is what you need to do in those dark seasons. Do you know how many more people would have made it to top places? How many more people would have made it to high power positions? And they'd have done it with God and not with the devil that just offered them something. You want a God-ordained business, but you need the help to unlearn how to run businesses in the world standards. You want to be a mother, but God has to teach you how to teach the principles that are needed in order to raise up a child correctly. And you got to go into isolation for that. And the more you ask the Lord for, I was audacious when I first came into God. I remember the day I sat down, and because anytime I get an instruction, I do it. And I got a spiritual instruction from somebody I was listening to at the time. They say, write down your goals. What do you want out of your life? Where would you like to be? Where would you like to live? What do you want? What kind of relationships do you want in your life? How much time would you like to work? All of these types of things. And I was audacious enough not only just to write it down, but I wrote it down. I kept it. I wish I still had access to that list, because I no longer have access to the original thing I wrote. I created a vision board and I did a physical write-up of all of the things that I wanted in my life. Then, after that, I started the process. I started working on those things. I started preparing for the things in which I asked for. And I wrote a long list of things. The house, what I wanted the house to look like, the money that I wanted, the relationships, if I wanted to be married, what the right type of standard of the man that I wanted in my life to look like. I wrote it all down. All of it. From top to bottom, I wrote everything down. Financial, career, family. But then the Lord had to deal with me. The more I asked for, the longer my pruning process has been. I'll never forget, I was sitting in one of my family members' cousin house, and she had brought this minister, and he was coming to explain about the time that prior to coming into Jesus, the moment that made him come to Jesus, where he had a near-death experience after a major head-on collision with a pole on his bike, and he was in traction for six weeks. They thought he was going to die, and he stayed in a coma for 4 weeks or something like that, and then he had to go through rehabilitation and all of that. And the guy said to me, I was sitting there talking to him, and he said, there are things in which we ask for, well, we can pray for it. And I was asking, well, why does it take so long for us to get the things that we pray for? And he said, because God's got to prepare you for it. God's got to prepare you for it. You be sitting up there thinking, sometimes, some of y'all, come on now. I'm going to give you an example. Y'all sit up there and y'all want this guy. I love using the wedding example and the marriage example because half of y'all women, that's what y'all want to talk about. Half of y'all, the first thing y'all want to click on a video for shame on you. If the only reason you clicking on videos because they faking the marriage on you, stop it. Why do I talk about kingdom marriage? I'm going to tell you right now why. Because the Lord is leading me in that direction. Not only is he leading me in that direction, there is a confirmation to tell me that he was leading me in that direction. I don't talk about kingdom marriages because I like to talk. God gives me wisdom, and I speak off the top of my dome about certain things in the midst of the things I'm talking about. And that's the wisdom that he's giving me in that moment to say that. Some of y'all sitting up there, I want to get married. I want to get married. Some of y'all would be afraid of the man that the Lord would show you. Because let me tell you, the one the Lord showed me, I was terrified when he showed me that man. I was like, that's the guy? Wait and see. That's the guy? Honey, child. Some of y'all gotta grow some realness in order to be prepared to walk with the men that the Lord really want to hook you up with. But some of y'all just sitting there begging for the one that you see in front of you. And God's like, I could give you somebody better than that. But if you want him, I'll ordain it. But if you want kingdom, come sit here and have a conversation with me about what you really want. Sit down here and say what you really want. Say what you really preparing for. Say what you really would like to do with your life. Say what you really, really, really want. And I'm going to point to you that man that'll walk with you, love on you, and be with you. And that man